there's a lot of things that can cause that. The noise of Twitter, the news, things like that. I shut everything off, when I'm trading, and I don't watch a lot of news to begin with. But I want to go back because a lot of people think this is a discipline problem, okay? And they think if you just have rules and you follow your rules, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a discipline problem. There is a gap between knowing your rules and carrying out your rules. There is a gap. And my work is in the gap. Okay? My work is in the, geez, I have these rules. Why can't I follow them? What is wrong with me? Well, nothing's wrong with you.
Hey, welcome back. Here at the Market Mamas podcast, I cover a wide range of topics from the intricacies of day trading to mindset mastery and psychological growth, with the goal of the conversations being next level growth for all of us. My name is Becky, and I'm a US-based futures day trader from the Pacific Northwest. My trading experience includes trading stocks, options, crypto, and futures, with both trading a personal account as well as with prop funding companies. Over time, I found that I most enjoy the fast-paced world of intraday futures trading, so that is my primary day trading focus now. Thank you for joining me on the Market Mamas podcast today. Welcome back to Market Mamas, everyone, and I am beyond grateful to have another wonderful guest here to enlighten us all and share a story about perseverance and development and growth in the world of trading and how that looks different for each of us. But there's so many parallels to what we're all experiencing that I think will reach all of us and what we are going through. And we get to learn how my guest today, Devin, has progressed through that and transformed her life and taken so many lessons and is imparting that on the people she gets to spend her days being around. So Devin Mills, thank you very much for being my guest at Market Mamas today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful that you're doing this. It's awesome.
I love all traders, but I love a strong woman trader also because, it's just the journey is a little bit different. Our biology is a little bit different. Our approach, our experience is a little bit different. And so I really enjoy being able to have these conversations with everyone across different cultures, but especially across different genders and getting some ladies on here. So cheers to that as well, like strong female energy.
Yeah, it's so true. The brain, it's all about the brain and the nervous system. And, we are different. We're different, male and female. We have a lot of the same stuff, but we do, come across differently. We do handle things differently. So in trading as well, although I work with the nervous system, but I don't want to jump ahead. I know you have questions and stuff, so I want to back up and let you do what you need to do first, okay? Because my mind, just so you know, my mind is 5 steps ahead all the time, so I got to pull it back.
Yeah, let's start with who you are and how you got into trading. How did you get interested in it, and what direction have you taken your trading? Now we'll give us some kind of backdrop into your trading aspect of this.
Yeah, I've been trading for 13 years. I started in stock and moved right into options. And so I trade all different types of, butterflies, credit spreads, debit spreads. I don't do a lot of naked calls and naked puts. I don't do a lot of that. I like theta to work for me, not against me a lot of the time. And then I also trade futures for the last 4 years. So I trade futures and options on pretty much a daily basis right now.
Okay, awesome. You have your hands in all of it. I love that evolution of how it led to the next thing, and then you start to master and understand this better. And then as something gets easier in trading, you start to feel more comfortable with it, understand it, feel comfortable with the leverage. That's when you can start to add more things to the mix. You got really good with options and felt comfortable with the style that you liked, and then you added in futures to sort of diversify and expand. That's a beautiful progression.
And we're really lucky as traders because we will never know everything. I love it because my brain needs the new. And I mean, that's a whole nother podcast about ADHD and the trader, which I can talk about, but not today, because we're going to talk about other stuff. But, it's like you will never learn everything there is to know about trading. I don't care. There will always be something new. And I love a challenge. I'm a seeker. I'm a student. And I love coming into something with that beginner mind. They call it in Buddhism, beginner mind. And we can trade till we're 80, 90 if we have all our faculties. I mean, really, think about it. What industry, what career can you do if you're still, got it going on in your 80s and 90s? It's incredible.
There is not near as many. Like, trading is an incredibly abundant opportunity, and I totally believe that. And if we can live in that like abundance, open to like understand more, I think that the potential is outstanding if you can just weather the early phases where it's the pull to quit is strong before you really found your footing. If you can weather through that period, like there is so much opportunity. I could not agree more of like constantly seeking to understand the depths more, understand it better, fine tune your system, like master yourself and your emotions. It all can continue to grow, especially if you don't feel like you've ever arrived, but more so you're just hungry to continually improve. I think that's where the real like continuation is what makes a difference on the traders that actually make it for multiple years, like 13 years. If that makes sense, that has been your approach because you've been so open to continuing to improve.
It's also a trap. Okay.
Okay. Tell us.
Let's segue into 47 strategies. All right. I can tell you, I have tried, I can tell you like just about every single strategy there is. ICT, failed breakdowns, failed breakouts. Oh, I play the MACD and the RSI. Oh, I'm going to wait for it to come down to liquidity, resistance, support. I mean, up the kazoo, But here's the thing about strategies. A lot of traders don't wait long enough for the strategy to kick in because trading is a very specific type of career where a lot of people don't do well. And the reason why they don't do well, I think, and again, this is just my opinion, just my 2 cents. So I want to be really clear about that. You have to be good at repetition and boring and waiting. Trading is waiting. It truly, truly is. And for the archetypes that I've created, the overtrader, there are a few of those archetypes to where waiting is just excruciating. I mean, they're always going to get in early. We're always going to get in early. And I suffer from that too. So I created these archetypes. I don't know if I created them, but let's just say I'm expanding on them. Okay. There's the panic seller, the freezer, the revenge trader, the overrider, and the euphoric overtrader. So
yeah, let's learn about that.
Each archetype, and I want to be clear on something because I'm also a life coach who specializes in trauma. All right. I've been an addiction counselor for years. I mentored people in recovery. I've done years and years of psychodrama therapy, IFS, cognitive behavioral therapy, EMDR, you name it. I've done it. So I'm not sitting here as a talking head off the street. All right. What I'm going to tell you today is I've lived it. I've lived it. And I'm coming out the other side. I don't even want to say I came out the other side because I'm down there with you, down in the gutter with you, because I'm going to tell you something. People suffer. They suffer in silence because money, finances, there is so much shame around losing money. And they don't tell anybody. They lie. They do what they need to do to survive. And all that stuff, okay, was how they survived in childhood. So, to really understand the archetypes, we got to go way back into the room where it started. And this is when I coach traders and when I, do my life coaching with them. It's, dealing with the mind is very interesting because you could have had the best childhood, I'm telling you. And I've done so much trauma healing. Gabor Mate is like my mentor. So, I mean, listen, I know all about it pretty much. I mean, I've read all the books, gone to the retreats, done the webcast. But I'm just saying that most people don't understand that they bring that little girl or that little boy to the trading screen.
Yeah.
And a lot of times they're doing the trading. And as the adult, we got to learn about them, learn about what they're doing, and take them from driving the bus, I say, and put them back in the car seat. So when I say this stuff started in childhood, let's talk about the panic seller that exits too early. They can't stand a trade. They can't write it to target no matter what. Well, it's because one of the reasons, I don't want to do these broad sweeping statements and say this is all of it, but
Yeah.
Imagine being a child in a room where, you didn't know what was safe. You know what I mean? You weren't allowed. I mean, good things didn't last. All right. Good things didn't last as a child. You were always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So, sometimes we come from childhoods that were excruciating and they were battlefields.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot of work has been done in trauma in the body. Your Body Keeps Score is a great book by, I think it's Volker Vander Kolk. Anyway, he talks about how children that grew up in abusive homes were a lot like Vietnam vets. They have the same brain wiring. Now, all right, come on. If we take that person and we bring them to the trading screen and they don't even realize what they're trading with and what they're doing, it's not going to have a very good outcome until we take a look at that stuff. All right. And I mean, the revenge trader, well, that's all about shame. It's like if you do a loss, it's about perfection. It's about being shamed when you were a child, when you did something wrong. So I got to make it right. I got to make it right. So I got to get back in. I had a bad trade. I know what I'll do. I'll double down. I'll get back in and I'll win it all back. Yeah, yeah. Then they'll love me. I'm telling you, this is not woo woo. This is statistical proven stuff. Okay. And this is the crux. This is the begin. I created a whole course on this because no one's doing it. No one's going back there, finding the wound, sitting with the child, redoing the work. And, listen, this isn't something that you kind of want to do on your own. I mean, the workbook is great and all that kind of stuff, but if you're going to go back and do IFS systems, internal family systems, if you're going to find the little girl or the little boy, you can do it on your own, but you must be very careful. I'm not a therapist. I've done that work. I'm still doing that work. When she comes out, I've got a lot of inner children in me, different ages, different wounds, different ages. Listen, I often say to my clients, it's a full-time job taking care of your inner family. All right.
Yeah.
It's a full-time job. Which one's acting up today? Oh, well, today I'll give you a story. Today, the 14-year-old rebel, okay, she's the overrider in my archetypes. You're not the boss of me. That is her big deal. You're not the boss of me, because when she was younger, authority figures made rules, but they didn't respect her. They didn't love her. They didn't care about her. So she is out. He is out to break every rule. You cannot tell them what to do, because they will do the exact opposite just out of spite, even if it hurts them. So it's like we have to address the wound in order to find out what the heck is going on. And the healing trade course that I do, it has meditation. I meditate every morning. People don't get calm. They don't regulate before they get to the screen. The screen is a way for people to self-soothe, like shopping, like drinking, like drug. You know what I'm saying? Like overeating. They'll go to the screen to try to self-soothe, and they're deregulated, and they're looking for something to regulate them rather than saying, geez, man, my nervous system today, wow, I didn't sleep. I got in a fight with my boyfriend or my wife. Oh my God, I had to put my cat down there, and they want to go trade. And the thing is, trades will always be there. We come from lack too. It's always about what we don't have, and this is another whole level, a whole layer of the onion. It's like if you can come from, I call it the future trader, the future trading self. All right. And I kind of get all over the place here, but just stay with me. Stay with me.
Okay.
I'm a big Joe Dispenza fan.
Ooh, me too.
And big Abraham Hicks, been to the retreats, done the work. And I can only tell you that when I'm in the vortex or when I'm in my heart coherence, okay, all of these things, basically when I'm regulated and thinking about how my future trader acts at the screen, even if I can only do it for 2 minutes that day, I did it for 2 minutes and that's a win. This morning I did a whole meditation on what does the future trader feel when they're at the screen in a winning trade? What does it feel like? What is it? What are they looking at? What's around them? What are they tasting? What's happening? Because we have to bring the senses into that healing. All right, that's another thing. So I've done the panic seller, the revenge trader, the overwriter. Let's talk about the freezer. Bless the freezer's heart. The freezer, wow. On the outside, they look like the brainiac, the person that's really knows all the strategies, does all the analysis, has back tested it for months. I mean, they know everything about that trade. They can tell you, up and down and back and forth. And they wait. And they wait for that trade. They're really good at waiting. And then the trade sets up beautifully and they can't get in. They don't get in.
Hesitate.
They don't press it. They don't press the button because, the freezer grew up in a home where to say something or to act a certain way was dangerous. I don't mean bad. I don't mean naughty. I mean dangerous. You know what I mean? So they freeze.
Yeah.
They go into fight, flight, freeze. So
it's a protection mechanism is what it sounds.
Absolutely. So it's safer to do nothing than to take a chance to do something and get hit, let's say, or yelled at, or put in a closet. I don't know, but I'm talking stuff here, heavy duty stuff. And a lot of people are out there, doing that. And then the euphoric overtrader. Okay, I suffer from the overwriter, you're not the boss of me, and the euphoric overtrader. Okay, man, when a trade's going my way, and I'm riding it and I'm high on it, and you know what I mean, the feeling, you're in a trade, everything's going good, and the traders know what I'm talking about, and then maybe it turns against them a little bit and they're like, that's all right. I'm going to double down. I'm going to double down because, man, I'm on a streak and I've been on this streak and it's happening and it's great and I can't win and the market's going my way. And so they double down and then things start kind of happening and they do more and more and they end up going on tilt and they get off on the high of the trade. Okay. And it's like the feeling, they're not trading for money. Okay. The euphoric overtrader is not trading for money. They're trading for a certain feeling that happens when they, it's like they feel personally like worth something when they're winning. Does that make sense?
Yes. Validated.
Yeah. Validate. So they look to the market to validate them. And I've got videos on all of this on YouTube at the Healing Trade. There's videos that go really in depth about this stuff. So I created this course and back to meditation, I have them meditate for a couple of minutes before, they even start the lessons. And then there's a video of me talking about the lesson. And then there's a narrative on the lesson. And then there's writer's prompts and exercises and just all kinds of tools for them to get in touch with what's going on. Because I'm going to tell you something, if you're not in touch and you're going, it's dangerous. All right. It's dangerous to, have loaded feelings and loaded emotions and not know what to do with them and then turn to the market to self-soothe. That is the most dangerous thing you can do.
It seems like what you really have put a lot of work behind is targeting, like understanding the more subconscious energy behind the way that our behaviors come out on the charts and kind of understanding that a lot of that is rooted in childhood and experiences that we have and that have created our inclinations and behavior and impulses that maybe we don't really understand until we've done something such as your course and dug into our roots as younger children and figured out sort of what has created us in the energy that we are coming at the markets at. And if we can kind of understand those deeper inclinations and subconscious urges, then we can more accurately probably manage them in the moment so that we can trade effectively and systematically and intelligently and with focus versus letting those emotions kind of take charge too early and too fast and really sabotaging us. Just a quick pause before we get into this. Trading can be intense, and staying mindful during your session matters so much. That's why I created and am sharing a free 3-part audio experience that's helped me deeply. 1 for starting your day with calm intention, 1 to stay centered while you trade, and 1 to wind down with grace when it's time to stop. These tracks are yours. Just click the link in the description.
Yeah, and there's a way to listen. I'm going to tell you something now. After decades of work, okay, just my opinion, but I'm going to say this. I don't think you're ever fully healed from your trauma, but I think you have grace and compassion, and you learn to live alongside it, and you learn to manage it. And when triggers come up, you have the awareness to say, oh, I know what this is. Let me step away for a minute. Wow, I'm really triggered. And it's like, there's a lot of things that can cause that. The noise of Twitter, the news, things like that. I shut everything off, when I'm trading, and I don't watch a lot of news to begin with. But I want to go back because a lot of people think this is a discipline problem, okay? And they think if you just have rules and you follow your rules, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not a discipline problem. There is a gap between knowing your rules and carrying out your rules. There is a gap. And my work is in the gap. Okay. My work is in the, geez, I have these rules. Why can't I follow them? What is wrong with me? Well, nothing's wrong with you. You're wired a little bit differently. So we have to work with the wiring that you have.
Yeah.
And we have to train it and train ourselves. I'll give you a story. I'm the overrider, right?
Okay.
I have rules. My rules is I have 2 good trades on a Friday. That's it. I shut it down. 2 great trades today. Took a lot of profits on a lot of other stuff. 2 great trades on futures. That's my rule.
Okay.
Man, I saw that dump at the end of the day. I saw that flush, that elevator down, and that's my deal. I wait for elevator downs, and then I ride the squeeze up. That's how I trade. That's my strategy pretty much. So I got to wait. And so here I am. And I made a deal with my inners, with my littles. I call them littles. We made a deal. We're leaving for France on Monday. So we get 2 trades today that are good. We're shutting it down, and ooh la la, we're having a good day. All right. We're going to go do something else. Okay. The overrider in me is like, oh my God. Oh my, and this was on my phone. At
There's a
physical
setup.
therapy. It's like, what are you doing looking on your phone when we're done, when we're completely done? See, this is how cunning and baffling this dis-ease is. I'm telling you, it's cunning and baffling. So I almost got in. And I was like, listen, I had to really work it down and say, what's going on right now? What are you doing? What are you feeling? What's happening? Why do you want to go in? We have this rule. Well, I'm bored. I'm sitting here waiting for, my physical therapist, and I don't feel so good right now. I think I'm nervous about this whole thing, this physical therapy and going to France. Listen, la, 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 la. It's never about the trading. I'm telling you, it's never about the trading. So I'm like, okay, so you just gave me a list, and this is what I do. You got to learn to talk to yourself. You got to learn to be your own good mother and your own good father. I teach people how to be a good mother and a good father because God bless them, I did not have good models. All right. I had to create them myself. And that's hard work to be a good mother and a good father to littles and yourself, blah, 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 on and on. So I'm sitting there going, honey, because we can be critical. It's really easy to be critical. It's not easy to be, honey, I love you. I see what you're doing. I understand what's happening here. Now listen, and I got a bargain with them, just like a kid. It's like,
Yeah.
listen,
Make a deal.
I know what you want. You want your diet soda. and you want, you're not happy right now. So how about, listen, it's just like a kid. I'm telling you. How about after the treatment, if we go get your diet soda, because that's what you, I mean, I had to sit there in my mind and do a whole scenario. You see what I mean? And
Yeah, a negotiation.
that's on any given day. Any given day. They're coming up. They're doing their thing. Because that's what they do. That's what they had to do in that room back there to be safe. Well, we're not in that room anymore. And what you did back there to survive doesn't work on the trading screen anymore. Trading is a mirror for your life. If you want to know who you are, I swear to God, you want to know who you are, you get in front of a trading screen and you trade. And you would trade. And I mean, it showed me right away what's going on with me. How impatient I am, how I'm all over the place. It's like, whoa, this is like wrangling cats, corralling cats. How do we do that? Got to calm it down, got to calm the nervous system down. Well, how do you do that? Well, you meditate. You go for a walk instead of take the trade. You call somebody in fellowship. I started a program. I started a 12-step program called Overtraders Anonymous. It's 12-step because there's no such thing out there. Listen, I went to Gamblers Anonymous. It's not for me. You got to stop everything. This is not like AA. This is more like Overeaters Anonymous, right? How do we eat? We got to eat. And it's also like love addiction, right? We've got to love. How do we do it soberly? What does it look like?
Yeah.
How do we trade sober? What does a sober trader look like?
Tell us.
I'm a quadruple winner. That means I'm in a lot of 12-step programs, all right? So I had the knowledge. I mean, I've been in 12-step for 25 years, all right? So you're talking to somebody that's done the work, that's taken other people through it and still takes other people through it, and also has a sponsor, and I sponsor. But listen, so I'm like, we have the 12 steps of overtrading. We have the 12 traditions of overtrading. We have characteristics of an overtrader. We have signs of recovery of an overtrader. We have the promises of the program. And I got to tell you, people are coming in and they are healing. And they are telling me, and we have accountability groups. And they're saying, listen, and I do this too now. Before a trade, I'm like, oh, geez, do you really want to take that trade? Because you're going to have to talk about it at the Sunday meeting. If it goes bad, you're going to have to like own up and talk about it.
Yeah.
And the thing is that's what we do there. And nobody judges anybody. It's a compassionate program of support for each other because we've all been through it. We all walk through it. There's so much shame around this. We hold the space there for healing. And nobody's going to judge anybody in there because they've all blown up accounts. They've all been there. They've all done it. What it's like. They'll tell you the stories, I mean, I have seen some crazy stuff in there. And I've seen some people healing, and I've seen what it looks like, and I've seen when nervous systems start to calm down and people start to trade soberly. And that's my whole mission, is to help these people not blow up their prop accounts, help them not blow up their accounts. How can I be of service? What does it look like to the trader who's suffering, to the compulsive overtrader who's suffering? If they come in the room and they know they're not alone, because that's something else, Becky. We trade in a vacuum. It's very isolating.
It is, yeah.
And it's not easy to talk about this stuff to other people. They don't know. They don't know from what a bad trade. They can't get their head around that. So, a lot of it is holding the space, being a witness for people to get it out so they can heal. And they can start maybe trying something different, maybe, looking at the characteristics of overtrading, maybe taking a pause before they press that button. If they're an overwriter or a euphoric overtrader or a revenge trader, just take a 10-minute pause before you press that, button and, see, there's also an accountability group to where some of us have formed. And we're accountable every day for our trading. Can you imagine? And it's free. It's free. And we have support, and the meetings are twice a week. Overtradersanonymous.org, and they're twice a week right now, Sunday and Wednesdays at 5 p.m. on Zoom. So you can get the information online. But I created that because it wasn't out there. I needed it, Becky. I needed it. So, and it wasn't there, so I created it. It's in the very early stages, but people are coming, they're finding it, and they're finding healing there. And that's all I can ask for, all I can wish for them.
I think there's so much power in what you're saying, because a true community that is absolutely supportive, understands what you have gone through, is not judgmental, but wants to treat themselves with grace and wants to treat you with grace. And then having that accountability where you do share your charts and your trades, and you kind of have a space to be authentic with your experience and not feel as if you're being judged, but more so that you're in a community of people that understand it and have been where you are and have the hard days and the good days and want to grow as a community to have more good days. And I think that what you have built is beautiful and is absolutely needed, because pushing through to success in trading, I really think, comes when you focus on this type of work, because everyone, whether which type of 5 archetype you struggle with most, I think that every single trader has at least 1 or 2 of them that they struggle with. And so to put some eyes on that, put some emphasis on that and energy, that's how you can kind of get through. So that's amazing what you've created.
Let me be clear about the archetypes, all right? You can sift through, you can wave through each one in a day. Okay, you'll probably have 1, maybe 2 that you really lean towards, but I have been the freezer. I've been the revenge trader, the panic seller. I've been all of them, and sometimes in one session. All right, this is not, listen, I'm in there with you. I'm not a furu or a guru that sits there and says, oh, do this and you'll be that. That, tells you all this stuff on Twitter and shows you like the Ferraris and shows you like, the $1 million, and they don't ever show you the down stuff. They don't ever show you like, oh man, I blew $1 million today, or blew 300 grand today, or I did that. Where is that? It's like, how can you believe? And I have a great mentor. I love him. He's wonderful. But I have a hard time believing him because he never loses. Okay? That's a red flag for me.
Yeah, no, I don't love that.
He never shows his P&L.
Honest.
That's a red flag for me, But he's got people, let me tell you, he's got a freaking cult following. And if you get in there, because I have, and said, I'd like to see your P&L once. And I say it gracefully, and I mean, I'm attacked. I'm attacked by these people.
No.
And I'll tell you, speaking of attacking, there's a lot of cyberbullying going on Twitter around trading and in Discord rooms. I've been in a few Discord rooms and I quit going in, because if you say anything about psychology in a way that's, like this kind of stuff, like we're talking about, oh my God, I was verbally accused and called names, and I mean cussing me out. I mean,
no.
And the admin had to like do something about them and whatever. And it's happened more than once. So I don't know what that is, that anger, those are revenge traders probably. I don't know. God bless them, that they have so much in their own life. They have so much, pent up energy that they're putting out in the wrong way. Listen, I've been there. I, said things that I don't like myself for. I've done things, that I don't like myself for. But I've learned in 12-step that we make amends right away. We clean it up right away. We don't let that stuff sit there. So, this is kind of the crux of my work, is going back there, sitting with them back there, listening to them, finding out what's going on, finding the room. That's what my course is all about. Learning to trust yourself again. Because if you're an overtrader and you've had the rules and you said, I'm just going to do it again, and you write the same journal entry, oh, I did it again. Tomorrow will be better. I did it again. Well, until we really take a look at what's going on, tomorrow's not going to be better. It's going to be more the same,
Yeah.
So there's a lot of layers to this work. If I had to say, start someplace, I would say, go to my website, which is thehealingtrade.com, and I would say, watch the archetype videos. Just watch them and see if anything calls out to you. If it does, there's workbooks on there for everything. I got another course that I did a video series on how traders are like the climbers of Mount Everest. And I brought in stories of real climbers. Some lost their lives because they didn't, respect the
All the rules.
Some made it up there. But what was going on underneath? I tend to get into the whole story of the nervous system behind all of that. There's a workbook on that. There's different ways to go under. And you've got to go under to go over. I often say, I got to break down to break through, And I love it when I break down because that means, I'm having a breakthrough, just kind of reframing it. Rather than being afraid of all, and a lot of thing is this is a male dominated industry and they're afraid. My brother once said to me, bless his heart, I can't look at my childhood because if I start crying, I'll never stop. God bless him. I know that person. I was that person. I cried for 10 years. I'm still crying. And you know what? So what? If I got to cry, I got to cry. It's like my meditation teacher said, better out than in, Devin. Better out than in. They hurt when they went down. They're going to hurt when they come out. So bless their hearts that are suffering. You guys don't have to suffer. You don't. There's a way. There's a way through. So, that's pretty much my message.
Thank you for sharing. And I just want to highlight that it's clear in speaking with you that what you have created, you speak to the different courses and the ways to approach this and the work through it. It's from a lot of personal work, which speaks for itself, because you didn't just AI your way through creating a course and throw it out there. You have lived the experience of facing your own self and going into these programs and these groups and growing through it and experiencing the depths of reliving some of it and progressing, processing it and moving through so you can have some success that you want to grow. And I think that speaks to so much authenticity about when someone has actually done the experience and then wants to impart what they have learned and what has helped them. That is the real quality over quantity or some other kind of fluff that someone just put out there. I think that speaks so much more to the potential of what you offer with your website and your different videos and the support that you have in your communities. That is so much more real. And the depth of that work is going to be what is a game changer for people when they get into that type of work.
And I'll just leave you with, I don't know how much time we have, but we've been talking for quite a while, but I often say I get a daily reprieve from overtrading. They're always there. They always have needs. They always want to do it. They always want to press buttons. They want to run the show. They want to drive the bus. And today I got a daily reprieve. I almost had a slip, but I got a daily reprieve. Recovery kind of kicked in. I am a trader in recovery. One day, one trade, one breath at a time. That is how I do it.
Yeah. One trade at a time. I love that. It's an intentional choice to fulfill what is right, but you have to have focused energy on it every day. You never arrive as the person who no longer ever overtrades again. It's a constant attention to what you need to do to hold steady.
It's like in AA, they say, we have a daily reprieve from our alcoholism. And I feel the same way. We have a daily reprieve from overtrading. It's always lurking. I don't think, because a lot of this stuff is wired from childhood, and we can grow into the future trader that we want to become. That's a lot more. And that's where this goes. After you do that work over there, then you start to get the healing. Then you want more of it. Then you're like, oh man, my whole trading has changed. Oh, more of this, please. And then you're able to start looking at the future and what the future looks like off the screen, what your big, beautiful life looks like. And trading no longer becomes the primary relationship. A lot of people are addicted. They are to trading. And, their families feel it. Their pocket feels it. I mean, it has a lot of tentacles. It goes into a lot of areas of your life, just like over drinking, overeating, over shopping, gambling. It does. It has a lot of tentacles. But it is my belief that we can trade sober. It is my belief that we are, recovery is a strategy, okay? Recovery is a strategy. And that is the strategy for me today. What does recovery look like? When I get up in the morning, what does recovery look like? Well, it's not reaching for the phone first thing. It's meditating, having my coffee, maybe listening to Abraham Hicks a little bit or Joe Dispenza, working out. I have a life because I am confident that a trade will always be there. There will always be a trade till I die. There'll be a trade. If I don't catch it, they're like buses. Another one's going to come along in 15 minutes. You know what I mean? It's
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I don't run. That's recovery for me. I don't run to the computer anymore. I take my time. I'm done by noon. That's new. Today I almost had a slip, but so I want to call myself out. I want to pull my covers on that. But usually I'm done by noon. And I'm going out, man. I'm having a good time, whether it's having lunch with a girlfriend or making early dinner plans or being a vacationer in my own backyard, being a sightseer. I live in Savannah, Georgia. It's gorgeous here, So we have to train the animal.
Yeah.
We have to retrain ourselves. And I say that with love. We have to pick up the little boy, the little girl, and we have to, start the process of listening to them and understanding with compassion that what worked back there no longer works in the present and in front of the trading screen.
It's a great point. And I really want to echo what you said about when you get into some of this work and you start to shift your habits and experience different outcomes based on the work that you're doing on these levels that we're speaking about today. When you start to feel some success in that growth and development, it's kind of intoxicating in that it's the game changer. Like for me, that is partially why a lot of my energy behind my Market Mamas is I want people to know that like my trading had its most substantial change, not when I learned the key strategies, but when I faced myself in the mirror and I started dealing with my deeper inner psychology. That's when I started having the breakthroughs. And that's what drew me so deeply into the world and the conversations of psychology and the work of Joe Dispenza. And I love Abraham Hicks as well. Like there's a lot out there that just speaks to the fact that there are deeper levels to this. And we have so much more power and ability than we know. Like the brain does have neuroplasticity. And so when I fully accepted the fact that I wanted to go deep and work on my psychology, like you said, it was like eye-opening of like, oh my gosh, my trading is shifting. I feel calmer. I feel more abundant. I feel the possibilities are actually real because I'm seeing the transitions in my life. And that's why I love having guests such as you on, because you just echo that sentiment that I have personally experienced of like, when you dig into this work, these conversations, these communities that support that and encourage and help you grow, that's where you feel the changes. And if someone is watching this episode and hasn't been able to figure out how to start getting changes that feel like they're holding and they're changing and growing, I would really deeply encourage you to try somewhere with Devin's websites. Just start to think about what that would look like to face yourself in the mirror and start making those changes. Because once you get on that track, it's like something you can't unsee. You learn that this is work to do and it matters. And for me, it makes me crave it more as well. And so, I mean, I just feel so grateful to be able to have a Market Mamas and bring someone such as yourself on and offer up the opportunities that you have in your systems, because I do fully believe in the work that you're speaking of today.
One more thing I'll say is it's uncomfortable. And a lot of people they want to be comfortable. They don't like to be uncomfortable. So I often tell my clients, let's get in to the uncomfortableness and be comfortable with the uncomfortableness. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the uncomfortableness is the work, is the process. It is the process. And you have to be willing to have that discomfort, to shake things up. And it's not going to feel good because you're going to be shifting stuff and you're going to have freaking a pink cloud of euphoria one day and you're going to be down, you're going to be all over the place. But I'm telling you, it is so worth it this process of healing yourself, I often say, heal the trader, heal the trading, heal the trader, heal the trading. Because if you get into healing yourself and you're willing to be willing even to look at some of this stuff and to sit with the uncomfortableness, to sit with what that feels like, and not try to reach for your phone and not try to, overtrade, overeat, overshop. Just sit with it and see what comes up. There's an inner person in there, an inner spirit that wants to tell you everything, good and bad. And you got to be ready for it. And so the uncomfortableness is the process. That is the work.
Yeah. Well said. And I totally agree with you on that. If it was comfortable, everyone would do it, and it's not, but it is a game changer. So it's worth it if you have the stomach to push through this type of work completely. Thank you so much for your time today. You are clearly a wealth of knowledge and experience, and the graciousness to share what you have learned with everyone. And so I absolutely love what you have created, and I'm feeling very grateful that I got to bring you on the show today and introduce you to hopefully even more people that will find good energy and growth with working through this for themselves as well.
And that is what you said, sit in gratefulness, sit in joy. If it comes, if you have a good trade, embrace the joy, embrace the gratefulness. And if you can't, that's something to look at. If you're willing to not reward yourself, if you're willing to look past, so what? I made blah, blah, blah. So what? Look at that. There's signs everywhere for healing. Meditation is a healing tool, and it's free. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Overtraders Anonymous is free. It doesn't cost you anything to come to a meeting and to get support. So, yeah, I try to sit in gratefulness. I try to, as Abraham Hicks would say, that's how you get in the vortex, is you're joyful, grateful, and, you keep that feeling going as long as you have, because miracles are in gratefulness. Miracles happen in being appreciative of people, places, and things. Miracles. I've seen them. This is a miracle that you're watching. This is a miracle she had me on. She's a miracle. You're a miracle. It's like the sky doesn't have to open up and somebody's hands come down for it to be a miracle. There's miracles happening every day in the little stuff. My cats are still alive at 15. I get another day with them. Do you know what I mean? We have to start looking at what's going well and grab hold of that and enjoy that and embrace ourselves and others with that.
I love that. Excellent. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great. I so appreciate you. And maybe we can do another one on down the line about ADHD and trading. That's
a great We need to do that. Yeah. And,
Yeah.
I'm going to put the links for your programs in the description, so you didn't have to write that down if you didn't already. But check out the description to find the links to find Devin and join these programs that she has created so beautifully. And everyone, just take care of yourselves and others, because trading can be really hard at times, and weathering it and doing the work, it's worth it. But just take care of yourselves and others. And thanks for watching, everyone. Thank you, Devin.
Thank you.